The woman intentionally cut off her long hair, took out hair dye, and changed the color of her hair and eyebrows. Then, she sprinkled 80 for disinfectant on the floor, erased her own traces of being there, and picked up a hammer and smashed herself fiercely. She did all this to make herself completely disappear and then frame her husband for her murder. 6 months ago, Amy devised a detailed plan. First, she maxed out her husband Nick's credit card, bought many expensive luxury items, and hid them, creating the illusion that her husband was facing a financial crisis. Then, she bought high-value insurance for herself, with Nick as the beneficiary, to frame her husband for the murder of his wife. She was even harsher towards herself. We saw her sticking the needle into the vein on her arm and drawing a whole bottle of blood. Then, she sprinkled the blood on the cabinet and poured the rest on the floor. She spread it evenly with her hands to make it look more realistic. Then, she used both hands to create a blood trail and took out a tissue and knelt on the ground to wipe it vigorously. The blood gradually seeped into the cracks in the floor. After that, she dipped the hammer in blood, threw it into the fireplace, and lit it. After everything was ready, she intentionally befriended her pregnant female neighbor. Married women always easily come together. The two quickly became best friends. Amy began to complain to her that her husband often abused her. Then, she invited the neighbor to visit her home. After the neighbor finished using the restroom, she extracted her urine so that she could obtain a pregnancy certificate from the hospital. Amy used the identity of a pregnant woman to package herself as a weak person to ensure the success of her plan. She frantically wrote 300 diary entries, starting from the passionate love affair, creating stories in the diary, making her experiences appear both real and cruel. As a Harvard graduate writer, she portrayed Nick as a completely evil scumbag and herself as a long-term abuse victim. Then, she put the diary in the oven and burned it to the perfect state, creating the illusion that Nick destroyed the evidence and deliberately leaving behind a series of clues for the police, starting a perfect frame-up. On their 5th wedding anniversary, Amy disappeared alone while driving. When Nick returned home, he immediately sensed that something was wrong. The house was a mess, but Amy was nowhere to be seen. Before he could think further, he heard police sirens outside. The police carefully searched every room and quickly found blood stains on the cabinet. Then they found a strange envelope in Amy's room. Nick said, "This was a treasure hunt game that Amy and I used to play every year on our anniversary. Amy would set up clues and leave behind clues to enhance our relationship through the game." Nick quickly deciphered the first clue and went to his office, where he found the second clue. At the same time, the police found a woman's personal item and, while complaining about Nick's strange taste, they put the evidence in an evidence bag. According to the second clue, the destination was a place called the Brown Cottage. Nick said he didn't know where it was, but late at night, Nick drove alone to a small cabin and indeed found the third clue. Apparently, he lied to the police. What he didn't expect was that the police suddenly appeared at that moment. It turned out they had been following him. While Nick explained, he hid the third clue. He said this was his father's old house, and he would come to check on it every week. This house was blue, not brown, and had nothing to do with the clues. The police didn't know that his dad was named Brown, so they had to let him go. The next day, Amy's parents arrived, and upon learning that their daughter was missing, they immediately held a press conference. During the press conference, Amy's parents were devastated, but Nick remained calm throughout and even smiled foolishly at the camera. He greeted everyone warmly and even took a close-up photo with a beautiful woman. Faced with the disappearance of his loved one, he showed no signs of worrying at all. All these strange behaviors instantly propelled Nick to the headlines. The media reported him as a despicable man. Just as the doorbell rang, a young girl rushed in. It turned out she hadn't seen her girlfriend for many days, so she came looking for her. Now was a sensitive time, and Amy definitely couldn't let anyone discover her girlfriend's existence, so Nick hurriedly sent the girlfriend away. Meanwhile, Amy had already changed her appearance and arrived at a remote location, waiting for Nick to be arrested for murder. Before marriage, Nick was humorous and witty, talented, and fell in love with Amy at first sight, quickly entering the realm of marriage. After marriage, Amy gave up her high-paying job and became a full-time housewife at home. Knowing that Nick was unemployed, he spent his days idle, not thinking about progress. He not only spent Amy's money pretending to be rich, but also indulged in a life of debauchery. He was simply a scumbag who lived off of others. But Amy still held onto a glimmer of hope for him. In order to save her marriage, Amy suggested having a child, but not only did Nick refuse, he also became violent towards Amy.
What scared me wasn't that he pushed me. What scared me was how much he wanted to hurt me more.
Amy was extremely disappointed in him, which led her to decide to seek revenge. Nick, in order to maintain his image, immediately held a prayer meeting. Little did he know that his female neighbor suddenly emerged and loudly denounced him as a scumbag, standing up for Amy. This situation truly left him in a hopeless situation.
Thank you for your support tonight. Let's find Amy. Go ahead.
Go.